Alrighty, it looks like we have some customers. How's it going, everybody? My name is Ethan Alexander, the doggish shopkeep of the lovely establishment you see before you, the Mimic Trap. Sorry for the short delay. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties. Apparently, I need to update some drivers later. But though that may not look like much, the Mimic Trap is a magic junk shop that brings the curious curios to you. And that means treasures, trinkets, and trash that I just kind of think is sort of neat. But no matter what dimension you hail from, if you happen to pass by a door with the Mimic Trap's logo on it, which you can see right below my feet and in reverse through the shop window, then you're always welcome in, even if it's just a browse. Window shoppers, lurkers, the like, you're always welcome to come and look at, well, there's not really much to look at the moment. The shop's mascot, Mort, our mimic, has been running around and disguising himself as things, so I can't really retrieve any of the items I gave him for safekeeping during the move. We didn't really want anything to get damaged when Azu tethered the place to the local dimension, which is where I assume most of the people currently visiting are from, but, that was probably a mistake, but live and learn and all that. But, hello! Since there's not much to look at in my shop, why don't I tell you a few things about myself? We'll maybe roll into some fun conversations. Alrighty, so just to get started, I'm again Ethan Alexander. I do go by he, him, just so everybody knows. I am trans. So that would explain the tiny, tiny voice I'm currently talking, and that is not a result of my tiny dog form. That's just me. That is my natural state of being. So we won't expect that to change anytime soon. As far as my age goes, it's kind of, we did a lot of math, and I'm bad at math. We're thinking it's 30, but we've hopped dimensions multiple times, and I was quite literally a dog before this, or well, a dog adjacent species. So 30 is about as good as we're gonna get. My height, I'm normally, which I'll show you a picture of my human-ish form in a minute, but I'm normally about 5 foot, 5.5 inches. And the reason why we have that extra half an inch labeled on there is because it gives me 1 extra centimeter. So I'm 166 centimeters. For those of you, many, many people who are not using the American imperial system. My small dog form, I don't really know how I compare. It's weird trying to compare. I think it's like about a quarter of normal height. I'm a small dog. Think a little beagle or something. If you're interested in my birthday, it's going to be September 21st. Very big fall birthday. I'm right before the equinox? I think it's the equinox. So it's fun. I am the shopkeeper here at the Mimic Trap. I am a tinkerer. Noise boy. Noise boy is because you will hear many weird various sounds coming out of my mouth, along with animal noises, sound effects. That's just a thing. Hopefully you enjoy it, and hopefully it's not too crazy. And game dog, yes, that is, I'm going to play lots of games while we're here. Not today, unfortunately, but later on, we'll get to that. But I'm the shopkeeper here at the Mimic Trap. My species is human, but it's also not human. I'm a cunny, which is how you're supposed to say it. But most people say canny, and I'm kind of stuck in the tiny dog form of my species at the moment. There is another form that we don't really talk about because they look big and angry, and it's sort of, not polite to walk around looking like you're looking for a fight. They call that the uncanny, or the uncanny. Yeah, that's a lovely, lovely thing. I really only speak, the country I come from, we call it Glacian. It's English here, so yes, I only speak English. A little bit of local dimension doggish, but a lot of people don't know that dogs speak different dialects. It's really wild. And it's worse because if the humans speak different languages, the local dialects vary even farther. So dogs aren't really easy to understand. My Oshi mark is supposed to be a gear and a little dog symbol. So I'm a gear dog, or a cog dog is not technically accurate because cogs are the teeth on the gear, and I don't need to be explaining that. But yeah, no, apparently, even though my computer decided it liked it before I published the pictures, it doesn't like it anymore. So you see that lovely little question box. I'm going to show you my tiny little dog form a little bit bigger. Give me just a second. Hi, hello, this is me. A little bit bigger. You can kind of see I'm a little red dog, and I have my my little green teal mint. I'm not really sure quite what we'd label the color, but my scarf. This is my signature thing. I don't wear a collar. I'm not owned by anybody, so I just have my little scarf, and it's nice. And the goggles don't really fit at this size, so they're kind of falling off a little bit. For my pngtuber form, I only really have 3 emotions. I have standard, which is happy. I have sad dog. You can see me looking like I'm crying. Very sad. And then we have Angie. Angie is just funny to me. I look somewhere between an angry cat and an angry toddler. But yeah, so that's what we're working with. I'm going to switch back to small one sec. For my next slide, I will show you what I should look like. Or no, I have lore next. What I look like is the next slide. My lore. Originally, I came from a dimension where everything runs on steam or clockwork. The technology here is very advanced for me. So if I seem like I'm struggling, that's because I am. Azu likes to call me a boomer, which is very funny, considering I'm not that old. But I do, I frequently message in the old version of the emotes, which is colon and parentheses. Yes, there we go. There's Azu and the hey Azu. Yeah, I couldn't tell if Azu was actually watching from the box in the corner of the shop or not, but apparently they are. So everyone say hi to Azu. Azu is a big reason of why I'm here, because I was lonely where I was from, and Azu just kind of showed up one day and took me away from my life there. I'm a rescue, and we're gonna go with that, and not, you know, that she yoinked me from the place I was at. But yeah, but life with Azu has been great. They did use their magic to turn me human, because I was very unhappy as a tiny barking creature. But it really only lasts about half the day right now. We're trying to work up to where I can stay human enough to actually stream for you guys in my regular form, but that's not something we can do right now. And they also introduced me to Vtubers, and it looked super fun, and it looked like a great way to make friends, and so I'm really excited to meet people, and I hope you guys, you know, drop by, say hi. And now I've opened my shop, the Mimic Trap, and we've already explained it can appear in any dimension. And that's Azu there at the top, in case you didn't see her head poking out of the upper right corner. They are great. This is what I usually look like. Kind of steampunky, inventor kind of guy. I have an unnecessary amount of filigree on the back of my vest that you will never see, but it does make me happy. Even if I can't even see it, even if I look in the mirror. But it's fine. It makes me happy. I do carry around, you can kind of see my potions on my belt, and I wear my goggles, and I always keep a satchel full of tools attached to my hip. But that's kind of me. Yeah. But regardless of the form, I sort of always have the tail and dog ears, unless I'm trying to be fully human at my human job during the day, which is exhausting because humans are weird. I love you all, but I'm struggling to fit in here. Yeah, stuff I like. I like art. All of my my overlays, my PNG model, my upcoming Live 2D, that's all going to be made by me. Which is why everything is taking so long. It's a lot of work to put in on top of, you know, a full-time day job as a human. I also like crafting and tinkering with things, so like altering little fun mechanical devices and just slapping things together that probably shouldn't go together. I think it runs in the family. If you saw the stuff my brother made, when my human brother from the family I came from before, you would not be surprised. There's so many things that did not require knives. But they do now. I also like potions and alchemy, chemistry in general. Absolutely fascinating. I will probably drop fun facts, even though I only took the basic this world chemistry class. Alchemy makes more sense to me because it's a little bit of magical, mystical. You don't have to worry about the nitty gritty. Chemistry here, though, if you don't math good, you're not doing good. So, I did what I could. I also like steam and clockwork gadgets. That should kind of go without saying. I didn't get a lot of chances when I was in my previous dimension to really fiddle with things. And I love taking things apart, figuring out how they work, and seeing if I can recreate that in a like reasonable manner to make my own stuff. There's some stuff that is not on the shop shelves that I probably should not have cobbled together, but they're based off of some people that I really like, and you might see them later. I love singing. I sing frequently. I'm going to try very hard not to copyright strike myself on accident, because I have a tendency to burst into song for zero reason, or because I'm frustrated. I will ad-lib little song tidbits at any point in time, especially if I'm trying to ask a piece of equipment to please be nice. So you'll probably hear that a lot. I also make really dumb noises. Again, the noise boy thing. I have some control over some of the noises I make, and other things. I have trigger words where if you say things like, we'll do trees. If you say trees, I immediately will react with trees, and that's just a thing. That is a thing. If Azu talked on stream, I would be ruined for life. Yeah, they would exploit that to hell and back. I also like walkies. Like any canine, I'm big on going out and walking in nature. Even though I'm a complete introvert, I like nature. I like going around, walking, looking at trees, collecting things, cataloging the local flora and fauna. I'm very big on that. I'm also really big on that in games. If there is a game with a scanner tool, I will be all over it. There's like Subnautica. Subnautica was great for me. I loved that. I put myself in unnecessary danger to scan things. And I try not to do that in real life, but I don't guarantee anything. But yeah, so animals and plants. I also really on kind of a rolling off of the animals and plants, I love creature design. I love it so much. I'm very big into like horror and sci-fi and fantasy and different creatures. I do Monster Mondays where I take two animals and smash them together. That'll mostly be remote for the time being. I'd love to stream it in the future, but for right now, we don't have the capabilities. My computer is kind of, if you could see my setup, it's kind of, imagine a laptop, but it's hooked up to several potato batteries. That is essentially what I'm working with. We're trying here. But we can play some games. We can't do all of them, and I definitely can't art at the moment, unfortunately. But yeah, I do those remotely, and you'll see them on Twitter. So if you're ever interested in looking at some weird things that I've decided to slap together, that's there every Monday, or I try to every Monday. I also really love D&D and New World of Darkness. Also, I've played before. That system, that's more werewolves and vampires in like modern day than it is like D&D, which is fantasy. I know, I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with that. But yeah, I haven't played in a proper campaign in like 2 years, so I miss it a lot. It was fun. And also, another thing that I like is McDonald's. If you ever hear I've bought myself some nice food, it's probably not fancy. It's probably just a burger from McDonald's. And you know what? It's my comfort food. It makes me happy when I'm sad. It makes me even more happy when I'm already happy. It's good. Even if it's probably not great for me, it makes me happy. Stuff I don't like. Corn. I thought about just putting corn up here and letting people wonder, why doesn't he like corn? I'm allergic. And that's something I didn't find out until, like, midway through my current, no, not even midway. I was roughly 22? Maybe older than that before we figured out I was allergic to corn, probably starting when I was 10, which would explain the giant rash suddenly appearing when I was 10. And then the forever stomach problems after that. But yeah, no, my stomach's doing a lot better now because I figured out what the problem was. It was my cereal every morning. Yeah, that's a thing. I also really don't like bee creatures near me. I love bees. I love that they exist. Them and their relatives, the wasps, the hornets, the little buzzy little creatures. And I'm trying so hard not to curse this stream. If you watch me enough, I curse a lot. I'm trying really hard to be good for the debut stream, so I'm very sorry. But yes, no, I don't like bees buzzing near me. It just sends shivers down my spine and it gives me the heebie-jeebies. We don't do that. I also don't like being cold or damp or any of the various things that involve the rain. I love rain in the fact that it makes everything nice and pretty, but the rain makes me sad. Because I have been a wet dog too many times. I don't like it. I've ruined plenty of shoes in the rivers that run through the streets here in this dimension. Holy goodness. Oh, holy goodness gracious. Yeah, I'm trying really hard not to curse. I also don't like chores, and that's not the normal I don't like chores. That's there's something wrong with my brain, and it just, I can't get chores done. Ever. It's really bad. I try very hard. But, yeah, I'm not a good housekeeper. No one should ever want me to be their maid. It's a bad idea. I will just, yeah. Asking for help, I'm getting better about, but I really like trying to figure things out myself, and asking for help makes me anxious anyway. So, yeah. And then, on top of that, not being okay is not necessarily because no one likes not being okay. Yeah, no one likes not being okay, but that's not the thing. I don't like admitting that I'm not okay. It feels like giving in to the sadness in the bad things. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna chug along, and as long as I say I'm good, I'm definitely good. And it doesn't help that I don't sometimes experience actively my stress until it's so bad I can't not experience it. I will literally go throughout my day thinking, today was great, come home and suddenly realize, wow, it was not. That's not something I'm actively, consciously able to control, so, yeah, I don't like that. Games. So, I like a lot of games. There's a lot of games I didn't put on here. I wanted to make sure there was room, and that you could actually read it if you're on mobile device. But a lot of the genres I love puzzles, I love mysteries. I'm really big into horror, especially ambient horror. If the game consists mostly of jump scares, I'm probably not going to like it as much as everybody else does. And I also really, if the horror has the truly gritty, dark creatures, that's good horror for me. The ambience, and the creature design really sells a horror game for me. Anything story-based. I love a good story. I will cry. That's just the nature of my being. I also really like anything with crafting, survival. The problem with that is I usually end up getting very overwhelmed by the amount of things I can craft and make. Because usually things based on crafting and survival require a lot of stuff to make the things. And then it just becomes a slog of farming trees. But I do like farming sims. They're very casual, they're very fun. It's very chill when you've had like a really bad day. I may at some point do like a farming sim just to chat and chill with people. But some games that I really personally like, the Persona series I'm big into. I've played 3 separate times. Very good. Not everybody's cup of tea. Some of the stuff did not age well, and I didn't realize when I played it the first time. But yeah, some of the stuff didn't age quite well. I've played a little bit of 5, and I fell out of it not because I, didn't like it or anything, but just I have a tendency to start games and not finish them, and I'm hoping streaming will help me deal with that problem, because I would feel very badly if I disappointed people by never finishing a game. I'm super, super into Mass Effect. I know way too many little lore details, and you will at some point hear me talk about Garrus Vicarian, and I don't need to explain that. But yes, the original trilogy is great. The follow-up game, Andromeda, I have mixed feelings about. Most of them aren't great, but I don't want to like rag on the Mass Effect series ever, so I'm just gonna never talk about Andromeda. Dragon Age 2, I also really, or Dragon Age in general, I really like. I've played 1 and 2, I started 3, but I had life stuff going on, so I didn't get through 3. 2, I've played and finished several times. It's great, I love it so much. Varric the Dwarf is my favorite character of possibly the entire game series. I shouldn't have to explain if you've played the game, but just know he's the sassy rogue type. He's great, I love him. Legend of Zelda is also a big one for me. I've played mostly Ocarina of Time. I had that on Nintendo 64, and I have it on like a couple other systems, but I've played through it several times. Twilight Princess is also a guilty pleasure for me. A lot of people didn't like it, and I was very surprised, but like, I got to run around as a little wolf. Not a little wolf either. I was a big, angry wolf, and it was great. Honestly, I like any games where you can let me run around as a creature. It's fun. Silent Hill, again, horror, not a horror buff. I wouldn't say I'm a horror buff. I don't know. I don't ever get into anything, into little details like that, but I like Silent Hill. I've played 2, 3, 4, which was The Room, and 5. I've also played the spin-off ones, like the Shattered Memories. I didn't like that one, though, because you're just running from the zombie. You at no point get a weapon. You're just running through zombies, and it sucks. It wasn't a good vibe. Anything from Quantic Dream also just hits perfectly. That's Detroit Becomes Human, Beyond Two Souls, Heavy Rain, Indigo Prophecy, or I think it's also called Fahrenheit, depending on colloquialization. Jack and Dexter is an old favorite of mine. Brutal Legend I will never be able to play on stream because it's got so much music in it, the copyrighted music, but it is such a good game. If anybody ever gets the chance to, if you like metal, if you like rock and roll, if you like just cool stuff, it's such a fun game. I highly recommend. Metal Gear Solid, that is Azu's fault. Almost entirely, because I heard about it a lot for a long time and just never picked up a copy. But it's great, it's fun. I did not expect it to be as funny and cool, and just the writing is nice, like really, really, really nice. I've watched Azu play through 3 and 5. I remember a very little tiny bit about 2, but I haven't seen any of the other ones. Other vintage games, Spyro. Spyro's great. I love just running around collecting things. It's just fun. Kuon is a very niche, not a lot of people have played it, old PlayStation 2 horror game. It's I think it's Japanese. I don't know if it's, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Japanese. It's Japanese horror, and it's done so well. You get to play through 3 separate storylines within the same story. So you get to play as 3 different characters. It's really, really good. If I can figure out a way to get my PlayStation 2 to let me stream, or if it's backwards compatible on the PlayStation 3, I will definitely play that at some point. Fatal Frame, I have played 1, 2, and 3. I'm very excited that they're starting to like remaster stuff, so we might do some of those in the future. Slime Rancher, that's like the perfect little farming sim. It's very cute, it's very fun, very adventure oriented. It's just good all around. Fallout. I love the Fallout series. We won't talk about 4. It didn't hit the best with me. And no one should ever talk about the multiplayer one. That was a decision. But Fallout 3, beautiful. I've played that so many times. New Vegas, also played it. I haven't beat it because it's got so much side story that's gripping, and then I get distracted, and then things happen, and then I don't finish it. But those are both great. And I like the Tales series, the Tales of. I haven't played through many of them, but I have beaten Tales of the Abyss ages ago, and that'd be something I'd love to revisit at some point. But I haven't played an RPG in so long. Oh my goodness. But yeah, that's it. That's mostly it for games. For anime, I like a lot of stuff, and I like a wide range of things. I like things from like romance to like shoujo to shonen, action, mystery, the dark stuff. It's all fun. But I like Skip Beat. Skip Beat is my all-time #1 favorite. It's the one I go back to when I'm feeling really bad. It just perks me up. It's great. Full Metal Alchemist. I've seen both the regular and Brotherhood. They're both good. I liked Brotherhood better, personally. Mostly because when I saw the original, it was when it actually came out. And it was kind of depressing. I'm not going to lie. Brotherhood ends a lot better for me. But that's, personal taste. Trigun. I don't know if a lot of people have seen Trigun. It's very futuristic Western. It's really, really fun. Even if you don't like dubs, it's Johnny Young Bosch. So I would, if you feel up to giving a dub a try, that one's pretty good. Inuyasha, I don't have to say anything about. Inuyasha's just great. Eureka 7 is one of the very few mechs I've watched. And I loved it. It ended well. It was just beautiful from start to finish. It made me very happy. The K Project was super, super fun. Loved that. Macross Delta, that's the only other mech anime I've gotten into, and I did not think it was going to be as good as it was, but it was absolutely fabulous. That one's also Azu's fault. Macross was fun. I've only seen Delta. We started the season before that, but we haven't gotten through it yet. We have a bad track record with getting through animes. Fruits Basket, very great. Very happy with that one. Same with Soul Eater. Ghost Sick I didn't finish, but it's a little detective girl, very Sherlock-esque. It's very fun, and I just really enjoyed it. Angel Beats made me cry. It's a great story there. I probably don't need to say much. Slayers is an anime I don't think a lot of people have watched, but back when Netflix was really starting to get its legs, it had all of the Slayer series on it. It's very fantasy. I will probably at some point post the Cursed Mermaid, which you will understand at some point, but I'm sorry in advance. Overlord is great. It's an isekai. It's the best kind of isekai. It's where the person is smart and they make decisions that make sense. It's a little morally gray in some areas, but overall the protagonist is a decent person. So it's fun. It's good. In all of the protagonists and their friends are all monsters, kind of versus the humans, which is a lovely different angle. Black Butler, great. I've seen the Black Butler 1 and 2. I've not seen Circus. Black Butler 2 was weird and also very concerning. It wasn't bad, but it was very concerning. But Black Butler was good. Death Note. I stopped watching after a particular character doesn't exist anymore. And I'm not going to spoil that for anybody who hasn't seen it, but I couldn't watch it after that. It just made me sad. Relife is super, super great. It's probably, not saying anything about the fact that the main character is getting a second chance on life. I totally don't relate to that at all. Madoka Magica. I thought, seeing the commercials and the pictures, it was going to be a cute little magical girl anime, and I was not incorrect, but I was very wrong. It's a fun time. Made me cry. It's a good anime. Eden of the East. I really liked this one. It starts out extremely funny. I don't know how to explain this one to anybody, but I enjoyed it. I don't know if it ever actually finished, because they had the main series and then they had a movie and they were supposed to have another one, and I haven't looked into it. I need to look into it. But yeah, there's me ranting about anime. Next slide is movies and series. For movies, Gattaca. That one starring Ethan Hawke has absolutely nothing to do with my name. It just so happened I looked back on it and was like, oh, hey, yeah, no, that matches me. But yeah, Gattaca is great. It's futuristic, not cyberpunk, but a little bit. It's slightly it's very dystopian in that people have cracked the genetic code and have found ways to basically order designer babies. So the people who are born naturally kind of got pushed to the wayside because they had health problems, they had predispositions to anger and violence, etc., etc. And the main character is someone who was a natural-born human, and he fought his way up to the top by pretending to be one of the designer babies. And it's really, really good. There's a particular quote from it, never save anything for the swim home, that really, really resonates with me. It's very much you will never win if you save the energy for the swim home. You just got to give it your all the entire way, and that's always kind of really resonated with me. It's not always a good thing, because I will work myself into the ground, but hey, it's a nice sentiment. Lord of the Rings. I recently watched the extended version. I saw the Lord of the Rings when it first came out in theaters, and it was great. The extended version is so much better. It made something that was good, just fabulous. There is so much, especially in the second one. They had to cut so much that gave so much to the movie. There was so much context that was lost. And it was funny because I remember watching that. I was young at the time. I remember watching the original and thinking that it ended oddly, that first movie, there at the top of the waterfall. And you know what? It ends a lot better if you watch the extended edition. I highly recommend. Dragonheart. That's a childhood favorite. That one's great. Dragon on an Adventure. It's the dragon is Sean Connery, and that's all I remember. There's very much the Knights of Old, and a quote that I really wish I could actually quote for you. John Wick, we watched recently, relatively, and I thought it was just going to be another one of those action movies where it's just explosions and shooting and nonsense and, not a lot of substance. It's so well done. It's like watching a comic, and it's so much fun, and it's Keanu Reeves, and it's great. #Alive, Train to Busan is one of the more recent horror movies I've seen. And I put those, they're supposed to be in the same universe. So #Alive is a separate movie from Train to Busan, but it's supposed to be same universe. They're both great. The writing is fantastic. #Alive in particular uses kind of the silence of being isolated to a really good advantage. It does a lot of show, don't tell. And I really appreciate it. There's a lot of movies that do too much telling and not enough showing. And that's also a thing. If we ever do watch-alongs, I'm picky. And I might rip into something that you really like, and I'm really concerned about that. So that'll be something we touch on at a much later date. Gremlins. I love the old-style puppetry, but Gremlins was great. Altendur of Dismarvels. That's one of the many little things I can do. Those are Marwal or or it's also something I can do with Stitch, from Lilo and Stitch, which is something I didn't include on here, but I really should have. But Nalakrusta. I hope that wasn't too loud. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I love Gremlins and the puppeteering behind it. And back when I love what 3D animation is capable of, but the things that people are capable of making back then to make a creature come to life are just astounding and beautiful to me. Atlantis: The Lost Empire, absolutely lovely movie. It's great. I don't know why Disney doesn't like it more than it does. Favorite movie from childhood, I loved Milo. I probably had a crush on Milo. Kiki's Delivery Service was quite possibly the first anime movie I ever watched that wasn't a Pokemon movie. I had no idea at the time that it was from Ghibli, or that all of Ghibli stuff was fantastic. There's a couple that I'm not, happy about. They weren't bad, but they just didn't have the same vibe as the other ones, and I think that's because they weren't made by Hayao Miyazaki. Oh god, I butchered that name. I'm so sorry. But yeah, no, Kiki's Delivery Service holds a special little place in my heart. Your Name is something I watched with Azu, and it made both of us cry. And that's a testament, because Azu doesn't cry very often. So it's great. It's a romance, but it's done really well. It's a body swap trope. It's so much fun. and it's emotional, and it really gets you. There's really a danger element that I can't go into unless I want to spoil the movie, but I hope everybody's seen it by now, because you should. Rose Red. Rose Red is a very old horror movie at this point. I think that one was a Stephen King. No one has watched it. It doesn't exist on... If it exists on DVD, they don't sell it anymore. They don't stream it anywhere. When I watched it, it was a 2 VHS set rental from, like, Blockbuster. It is so cool. It's about the house that keeps changing. It keeps adding rooms. Things keep switching up. It's haunted. And we bring in a whole team of, like, psychics and paranormal people. And it's really, really cool. And I can't really explain a lot, but it's Stephen King. It's really good. If I can ever find a DVD of that, I really want to watch it again. Hugo's very steampunk. Hugo is very cute. It kind of plays off like it's supposed to be, I think, a kid's movie, but it doesn't feel too childish to watch as an adult. And it's all about this little boy who's trapped away in a clock tower. And no one knows he's up there, but he's trying to keep the clock going because his dad was during when he was alive, but his dad passes away, and Hugo can't let anybody know he's up there, but he ends up befriending this little girl, and she has an automaton that she's trying to figure out how to fix, and it's the coolest thing. It's very fun, very adventure, very steampunk. I love it. Hellboy. I love Hellboy, and we're talking about the original Hellboy series from 2004 and 2008. I watched the remake, and it is so bad. To me, someone probably liked it. I didn't. It did not make me happy. But the original Hellboy is so much fun. It's so good. I loved all the characters, and they felt a lot more fleshed out. Abe Sapien, I totally didn't have a crush on the Fishman. I did. I like nerds. It didn't matter that he was a fish boy. He's a sweet nerd. He's great. Fifth Element. Fifth Element is a favorite of my stepdad. Who he's over in the previous dimension, but I've taken some things over to them. But this is his big sci-fi one. I love it. It's very great. Good adventure. Decently written. Very nice. The big bada boom. That's the only quote I ever remember from it, but it's good. The Evil Dead. Again, old horror stuff. It's the funniest, stupidest, most lovely series. It's literally it's such BS, but in the best way. The remake is a lot more gritty. So if you're not looking for gritty, I'd watch the original, but the remake wasn't bad. And I think I heard they're continuing it. Little fun fact from my brother is they used the most amount of fake blood in the remake of The Evil Dead that has ever been used in a movie. It literally rains fake blood at one point. Scream! Specifically, Scream 4 is my favorite. It has the best twist. And I'm not going to ruin it for everybody, but everybody should watch the fourth one. There's a particular moment where everything changes and everything you knew was a lie. Lovely plot twist. As far as series goes, I didn't list a lot. I've realized that a lot of the series I used to watch, I didn't really like. But I liked a lot of cartoons. There are some live action ones that I like. So of course I love Avatar: The Last Airbender, Arcane, which came out recently. Absolutely flawless. I probably don't need to go on about that. The Good Place was so much better than I expected it to be. It's a very good comedy. It's live action. It ends well. I really only seem to like things that last through the entirety of themselves as very good from start to finish. Same with Lucifer. After Lucifer left, like the main channel TV where it was censored and they could like do whatever they wanted, it got even better. If you've ever wanted to watch the devil solve crimes with a girl that he totally doesn't have a crush on, it's fun. It's a great show. Lucifer is a bi king. It's so much fun. And it ends on the most perfect song possible, and I love the way they did it. Static Shock, that is I don't think a lot of people have heard of this superhero. So he's a DC superhero, very much. He even has at some point a crossover with Batman, but he is quite possibly my favorite superhero. It holds a very good place in my heart. But the cartoon is currently on HBO if anybody ever wants to watch it. I don't know if it will be if anybody watches this later, but it's really good. It's just, he's a black superhero. He has electric powers. He's got his buddy named Gear, who is very, very smart. And it does a lot of the things that I don't see a lot in current like kid shows, where it goes through like moral dilemmas and like actually teaching about like real issues and, you know, addressing things. It's really nice. It's a good watch. And the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. 2003 in particular, and I did watch the 2012 series. I actually, contrary to what everybody else says, the 2014 and I think it was 2016 movies, I actually really liked them. The like outfits and stuff gave them a lot of individual personality, and it's more fun if you're going for camp. I will say that for the movies. They're a lot more campy. 2003 and 2012 in particular were darker than like the other series. The other series are a little bit more fun, a little bit more lighthearted. These ones, a little bit darker, a little bit more, I feel like they were going for a slightly older audience than the other ones. But yeah, there's me rambling away again. I'm gonna do a lot of rambling today. Music. I like a range of music that usually ends up somewhere under the emo label. I love Evanescence. Evanescence is quite possibly my favorite band. I love Amy Lee. It's so great. She's great. The band's great. Steam Powered Giraffe. I found them a couple years ago. They're very fun, very camp. Steampunk themed. They're robots. All of the cast members are robots except for the Walter workers, who are the only humans involved. And it's so much fun. They're just great. Hailstorm, absolutely great. Paramore, the Pretty Reckless, Imagine Dragons, By Chemical Romance, all this stuff. A lot of this is emo, punky, gothy, teenage years that will never leave me. Particularly Train is on here, not because it falls into the other category, but because my song I share with my dad is actually over here in the local dimension. He's done like he's a big military guy. He was 8 years special forces in the army. He's been retired for quite a while now, but me and him song. So anytime we hear Drops of Jupiter on the radio, out and about, we think about it, we have to call each other. It's really cool. Sometimes we will call each other and it'll be like, that's so weird. I literally just heard Drops of Jupiter. What the heck? Yeah, so it's just a nice little something that I hold very dear. Green Day, Burst Emerge, those fall into my punky goth stuff. Postmodern Jukebox, that's very taking modern songs and putting a vintage spin on them, and I really, really dig it. Like, as much as pop songs can be really good, kind of taking them back to like a swing, jazzy era is super, super great. I highly recommend. The last category, I've scribbled out that title, but you could definitely read that. These are things that I like a normal, healthy amount. I'm a Fudanchi. I'm not even, I like LBGTQ, beautiful romance. I myself am pan-romantic. So, just people being gay makes me very happy. I don't know what to say. If you have not seen Our Flag Means Death, it's fantastic. It's funny. It's very historical fantasy. Surprisingly, it's a pirate show, right? As silly and like off the wall as it is, it's probably more accurate than most of the pirate things I've watched in my life. Don't know how to feel about that personally, but it's a great show. We get the full gay. It doesn't just, are they going to kiss? Are they actually in love? No, it's beautiful. I don't want to spoil things, but they actually follow through with all of the things. And there is a non-binary pirate. So if you're interested in anything LGBTQ, highly, highly recommend. Skate the Infinity is not it's not, we're gonna label this as, it's not fruit, but it smells like fruit. And that the gay community has very much adopted it, and no one can ever tell us it's not gay. Very fun skateboarding anime. It's just fun. Good Omens. I loved Good Omens. That has oh my gosh, David Tennant. It has David Tennant in it. He is the demon of the demon angel duo. Though they don't really start out as a duo, or they try to pretend like, oh, we're not friends, but they are friends. That's so great. And it's very fun. That one is on Amazon. Bromance, I don't think is actually on Netflix anymore. This is something, again, it's not really necessarily LGBTQ, but there's a lot of moments in it where it's like, oh, so it's a girl dressed as a man for reasons. And the reasons being that her parents got led into they got tricked, they got swindled. So someone told them that their child will die unless she pretends to be a boy until she's a certain age. And it's really cool because it's not a like, oh, she's this like squeamish little girl trying to be a man. No, she is powerful. She is in control of herself. She is badass, honestly. And she meets and saves a mafia boss who's bringing the mafia into the world of the light. He's trying to get them out of the bad nitty-gritty things that we think about when we talk about the mafia. And it's really fun. They're on like the same power level. They are best friends, and I loved that for it. And it does have the classic, I didn't think I was gay. Why do I like this person? Oh no. But it turns, it's really, really, really good. It hits on a lot of the silly little things that I love. It's in Mandarin, if anybody wants to look it up. I could go on. Yuri on Ice, I don't need to explain. It's just great. I didn't realize how gay it was. I thought it was like everything else, which is queer bait, but no, it goes the full gay, and it made me very happy. And Heartstopper came to Netflix recently, but there is the comic over on the Webtoons app or the website. And honestly, as good as the show was, I highly recommend the comic. The comic was better. There is an unnecessary conflict in the show that really puts a bad light on one of the characters that it did not need to happen, because that was not how his character was originally written, and that makes me a little salty, but overall I do love it. Okay, so I'm gonna stop ranting about gay stuff now, and I'm gonna move on. Alrighty, for future stream plans, horror games, definitely. Actually, the first game I have planned is The Evil Within. I have a capture card, so I apologize greatly if it's scuffed. It's going to take me a little bit to get things going. But I've played The Evil Within before, years ago, when it first came out, and I love it. It hits so many nice horror tropes. I've also played the second one. The second one I didn't like as much. It's still good, but I have so many concerns about the monster designs. I'm gonna refrain from saying the phrase that is popping into my head right now. But yes, so I don't really get scared of horror games. I'm much more likely to maul. I'm much more likely to be very frustrated because I'm dying a lot. Because I will probably die a lot. Screaming, if it's really, really good, I might scream, but that's gonna be from something that I haven't seen before or played before. It's not actually ever happened, I don't think. But, you know, that might just be me not actually counting scares that were actually scares. I do want to play a lot of story games, and it is going to be very much an endurance of how quickly can we make Ethan cry, because I am a little, I'm a little bitch baby. Screw it. Fuck it. I'm a little bitch baby. Whenever it comes to you know, emotional, sad things, even happy things, I cry very easily. I'm a very soft-hearted guy, honestly. So story games will be fun, and you get to hear me sob. I don't know. It's gonna be fun. Mystery games, puzzle games. On the puzzle games, if you read down in my chat about the rules and the things to know here, Other than the fact that I have a potty mouth and sometimes I will drop the most unhinged phrases, and I apologize in advance for that. I don't have a lot of control over that. I have brain bugs. You'll also notice, please no backseating, especially with puzzle games, because I will ram my head into something until it works. I will get it. It might take me longer than it should, but I will get it. I'm usually pretty okay at puzzle games until you get to the one that's just particularly difficult, or I don't see it the way it's supposed to be seen. My brain's weird. I would like to do some me versus viewer games. I think that'd be fun. I'd really love to interact with you guys a lot more, play games together. I think that'd be super cool. Art streams. I really want to do art streams. I want to add my Monster Mondays to our stream roster, which we can't do at the moment. Like I said, potato computer, really mostly the issue is potato computer. But otherwise I have drawing set up, and I'd love to draw for you guys. And take requests at some point. I think that'd be fun. Karaoke streams. I don't know if I should do karaoke with my current mic. I don't know how it sounds right now because I can't hear it. But when I was doing audio test, I think because the shop is empty, it's echoing a lot. It's also picking up a lot of background noise, which I don't know if you can hear over like the chill music I have playing now, but it was hissing very aggressively, and I'm like, maybe we should wait. Maybe I should get a better microphone or figure out my audio a little bit. We'll figure it out. If not, we'll just have some fun. I love singing, and I would love to sing for you guys. Chill chatting streams. I do eventually want to do an AMA. I just want to talk with you guys. I want to hang out. If you have any questions, I'm usually pretty happy to answer, unless it's a particular topic of some nature, which, you know, I'm pretty open. Movie watch-along streams. Again, maybe if y'all can handle me, because I wasn't like this before I met Azu. I'm gonna blame this on Azu. Azu is extremely picky, and I have since meeting Azu become extremely picky about movies. I accidentally ruined the first of the new Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland. I ruined that for a friend who was really excited, and I didn't mean to, because me and Azu was ripping into it. I didn't mean to. It didn't hit for me, and I feel bad. It also didn't hit for Azu. But yeah, so that'll be up to taste. We'll when we get there, I'll take a poll or something. But my goals, my big thing is I really gotta get my Live 2D finished. The art is half done. I am working on it. I've had to do a lot of stuff for what I currently have, like my stream setup. So it's been put on pause for a little bit. But I'm going to pick that back up very shortly, and I hope to get it done as soon as possible. Unfortunately, I do need a new computer that's not a potato to actually run it and stream at the same time. I might do some little recorded things, maybe, if I can figure out how to do that in the meantime, once I get it finished. But I gotta get a new computer, guys. Oh, I want to do cover songs, kind of. I'm a little scared too. But if I ever get the gumption up to actually do a proper cover and not just a silly karaoke stream, I would really like to do that at some point. Definitely got to get a better mic. Voice acting is not... I'd like to do some voice acting, but I think that's mostly going to amount to me narrating, like, a story game more than anything. I like doing voices. I like acting as characters. It's super fun for me. Honestly, that's probably half of why D&D hit for me so well. Yeah, it's just fun. Very far in the future, I might want to do hand cams. I want to do like little crafting streams where I can tell you ahead of time, like you need this paper and have this stuff on hand, and then we do like a little thing. It can be stuff from paper crafts to more slightly advanced stuff to just fun little crafty things that you can sit on a shelf and be like, I made that. And they might even, if I can figure out like movable elements, things like that, anything that's simple enough that I can translate well. At my current human job, I do crafts, I do events, I do art, I do trivia, all kinds of little things, but the crafts are like the big thing. And I've been doing pretty good with teaching people, so I'd like to see if that translates to the internet. I have no idea. and I think it'll be fun, but that's very, very far in the future. I also need to fill the shop. My shop, as you've seen, is very bare. There's a couple things in there, and there's not much else. I got as much done as I could in the amount of time I had. But everything, not only does it take prying out of Mort, I have to draw everything. But I really, and of course, the heat started. I'm just going to talk over it. I hope y'all can actually hear me at this point. It's very cold. We're not in the warmest place at the moment. Here out in the floating out into the not the void, but tethered to the local dimension. It's cold. I apologize. I do want to fill the shop. A lot of the items that I have crafted and made are based on people that I know, friends that I have, and I'd love to base them off of you guys. In the future, I'd love to do something where we design items together, and I eventually load them into my shop, and you're a part of the day-to-day life here, and I think that would be great. I really hope you guys aren't being drowned out by the by the heat. I also really want to make a lot of friends. I want to meet a lot of you guys. I want to get to know you. I just want to hang out. I don't know a lot of people in my day-to-day. I'm very work. That's all I do, and I'd love to make some friends here. And I'd also, on that note, like to do some collabs. So if there's any other VTubers out there, people who stream, I'd love to do eventually, once I get to know people and work up the nerve to ask, I'd love to do some collabs. I think it'd be fun. We can do games together and stuff. There's a lot of multiplayer stuff that I'd like to play or try. I haven't done a lot of multiplayer games. There's like Phasmophobia and Dead by Daylight. Is that the right one? Yes. Yes. I always mix up Dead by Daylight and 7 Days to Die. I don't know why. They're entirely different, but the titles always cross paths in my mind. But yeah, so I've got that, and I think that is the last slide I have. Yeah, it just cycles back. But so let me swap back over to the shop. But yeah, it's been super nice meeting you guys. Like I said, there's not a lot going on in the shop at the moment. I have a space for lost things, that little caddy on the thing. We actually have a lot of stuff kind of drop out of the void. So if you lose things between couch cushions or in the dryer, if the dryer eats your socks, those get torched. Those don't exist anymore. We don't touch feet things here. No. I don't care if they've been washed or not. Doesn't make me happy. But yeah, no, lost things sometimes end up here. So I have a whole container that will be filled with lost things. I just haven't been able to get them to put them in the container. I have the nice little plushie stand over here to my left. It's currently featuring, I don't know how to zoom, otherwise I would. I have to figure things out. Streaming's new to me. This is gonna be fun. Y'all are gonna be here for my my learning curve. This is gonna be great. But yeah, we've got two little friends here on our new friends plushie stand. I've got currently Yellow the rat. Hopefully he stops by at some point so I can say hello and show him his little rat buddy. And then we have Ginger's needle bee. This is a little bee, and it sews, and it's got little lacy wings, and it's got a little light up butt to help light up projects. But it's very cute, and they just kind of hang out there. We have, in the back, we have the starry snow globe, which if you shake it, it'll light up. And it glows during meteor showers, which is super cool. But it's in a nice little sleepy snail, and that is based off of Liz, who is in the comments right now. Hi, everybody say hi to Azel. Azel Hazelwood. That's a buddy of mine, and I have a lot of things planned to come into the shop that are based off of other people. I have something based off of a friend that's a little broken doll. I have something that is a fox mask, which needs to go on the wall. I don't know why I haven't put that up yet. I have Sir, oh gosh, what is it? I think it's Sir Choppy Chop? I have to look up his name again. But, Sir Bitey McChop Chop the Third. I believe that's what his name is. He can't fit in the shop, but he's He's something I will show you at one point. That's a creation based off of a friend of mine who's somewhere at this point. I don't know. She hasn't been around. She got a job. She was overseas at one point, but she is a wild character, and I made a wild thing based off of her. And I guarantee you, if she saw it, she would throw her head back and cackle. But yeah, I've got a lot of little things that I plan on hanging in the shop, and the little bucket there in the front is going to be filled with like swords and canes and different things that you can grab and take. And I've got a lot of plans. I've got a lot of little fun things. It just all takes time. But yeah, and on that note, I think this might be a good time to wrap things up. But it was really, really nice chatting with everyone, and I'm so glad you stopped by to say hello. Catch me next time. We are next time streaming on this Sunday, which is what is the date? Ba-da-ba-ba. That is Sunday the 6th. That is 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's basically the exact same time frame, so that is 1, 2, 3 days from now. So I think if you are on the other side of the world, than North America, it would be early Monday morning. So it would be about the same time as we started it should be exactly the same time as we started today. But Sunday the 6th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are going to play The Evil Within. It's going to be so much fun. I'm very excited, but yeah, so I will post about that later. I don't have a very you should see the stream schedule I tried to make. It is awful. I have to completely redo it. Not that I'm streaming many days a week yet. We're sort of limited to 2 days a week at the moment. We'll up that as we can. But yeah, so I hope to see you again on Sunday maybe. And bye for now. See ya!